Hey guys, my name is Siddhartha Kela and I'm a sophomore at Magna High School. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a random number generator, a random number guessing game. Now, what this project entails is the computer is going to make going to generate a random number between 1 to 100, and the user has 7 chances to guess exactly what the number is. So for every chance, we're going to, if it's less than the number that the computer generated, then the computer will give the user an alert that their guess was either lower or higher than the number, and it'll also give a hint to the user as to whether where the number is between what two numbers, what your minimum and maximum, and between that if where your number is. Now, to make it a little harder than normal, what the computer is going to do is, for the range, for the maximum number, it's going to generate a random number between 1 to 5 and add it to a number to the number generated by the computer, and that's going to be your maximum value. Then it's going to do the same, but this time it'll subtract a random number by the number generated by the computer, and this will be used as a minimum number. After 7 chances, the code will stop working, basically, or it'll exit. Anyway, let's get started then. So for this, we're going to use a random package. So import random. Then next, we're gonna start with the name. So name is equal to input. Let's see. Input, what is your name? Then we're going next to, we will create a number. So is equal to, now what we're going to be using is a function called random.random integer. So it'd be random.randint 1 to 100. Next, we're going to be giving our guesses, so how many guesses he has. So I'm going to be giving a variable called guesses left, and I'm going to be giving it a value of 7. Now we're going to begin with our maximum and minimum values. So for this one, this generates a number between 1 to 100, and then next, this one gives 7 chances to the user. Last, what we're doing here is we're going to be adding our hint numbers, so a hint range. So basically, that's we're going to be asking computer to generate a number between 1 to 5, and then that will be the minimum value of our range that we're giving as our hint. So min value of range given as a hint. Now our y value would be num plus random.randint 1, 5, and then here we're going to say max value of range given as a hint. In this case, that means that, let's just say if the number given was 10, right? You're taking 5 as the random number generated by the computer. That means that the computer would give an alert to the user that there is will give a alert to hint to the user that the number 10 that the computer generated is between 5 and 15. Now, it's not like as if the number is going to be the same for both the x and y, like the random number generated, but in this case it doesn't really matter. Okay, and now we'll go to creating our little start variable. What this is just a way of saying creating a little tension. This isn't really that necessary. I don't know why I did that, but it just seemed pretty fun to do. So, and I know this may not seem that like useful or practical, so I'm just gonna label it optional. I just do it because it adds a little thing to it, and also you start if you're giving more control to the user by doing this. Next, start, then you print good luck, and then if start equals exit, then print no, then just exit. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to start by printing our how many guesses a person has left, or begins with at least. So we say you have, then space, and then plus string str, then we put guesses left. The reason why we're doing this is because this is given as a integer. So when this is given as an integer, when we're concatenating it, which means just adding a variable here, right, or an object, basically what we're doing is we're making sure that the object, which is the variable in this case, is a string, because you can't concatenate an integer. Anyway, next you put then you put guesses left. Now the reason why I added a space between this and a space right after it is because if I don't do that, then what I'm going to be left up with is you have 7 guesses left. Since I don't want it like that where it's all stuck together, I put a space there to say, hey, we're putting a space here. Now, so this is to print how many guesses the user begins with. Now next what we're going to be doing is while guesses left, so this basically puts the function in a loop, a while loop, right? And what I'm going to start with is while guesses left is greater than 0, and this is where we can begin like creating our functionality. So the reason why I'm doing this is because we want to make sure that the moment the guesses left reaches 0, it stops. So while there's still chances left, so while the user has chances left, it will run this code either until there are no chances or he guesses correctly. Anyway, so now what we can do here is we can start adding our like if statements, and then anyway, so guess is equal to input int first, because what I'm about to do is I'm about to say the input should be only a integer, right? And I'll show you exactly why that happens, why we have to keep it as a integer. Now that we have this, we can go and say if guess equals num. See how, and this is exactly why we put an integer. See how this num is an integer. If you are going to you cannot equate a string to an integer, because then it'll throw back an error. So that's why we say that we try to manipulate the input by making it only an integer. Now in this case, what happens is, if the user were to put a string instead of an integer, then it'll throw back a problem in the terminal. But other than that, if they stick to just integers, it should be good. So first we're going to start off by giving her congratulations statement. So congratulation. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a space, and we're going to concatenate again. We're going to say name. So this is just a way of saying you personally won the game, instead of making it seem more boring. So it's going to be a little more personalized when you do that. Anyway, next, after we add this, we're just going to exit, because they already guessed it. So when you do that, it'll exit out of the while loop, and also it will terminate the program. Anyway, next we're going to say if guess is greater than num. Here we are adding two equal signs, because even though this is an integer, we're giving the variable is still a string, so we want to keep it as equal to. Now let's just say if guess is greater than num, then we say print your guess is high, try again. And then we do guesses underscore left 1. Now what this does is, you're basically subtracting the current amount of you're going to subtract the subtracting the current number of guesses so this basically means that because they got it wrong, you're decreasing their number of guesses by 1. Now here's where we're going to also add our hint. So print space as normal, because we're concatenating, then plus strx. So because x is also an integer, because you're doing an operation here, you're going to get an integer, right? So in that case, that's why we're going to manipulate this, so that we are getting a string. So because you can't concatenate a string and an integer both in a print. Hence, you will manipulate this so that it's a string, and that way you're going to get a string in total, right? So you're not going to be thrown with an error. Then space and space again, then plus str, then y string again. So now we just printed our min and max to show hint. Now that we have that done, we're going to say print. This is where we show what we have you have, this is where we show how many guesses they have left. So SCR guesses, and then next left. Now after we do that, we add guesses again left. So we're saying you have plus a string guesses left plus guesses left. So you're going to end up with you have this many guesses left, basically. So okay, now after we do that, most of our code is reusable, so we can just say if guess is less than none. Then here, this is the one where this is the only part that's different. So we say your guess was too low. Your guess was low. Try again. Now, after that, we can just print this part and then add it here. And then now once we get that done, what else we do? Finally, what we can do is we click else and then print you lose. Now what this will do is we're basically saying that what the else statement does is if the guesses is not greater than 0, if it's equal to or less than whatever it is, instead of writing extra code, we just simply say else print you lose exit. So as long as they have guesses left, they have a chance. So this is basically saying if they have 0 guesses left or 0 guesses left, they lose. Done. Now let's run this. Python debugger, file. Now we get what is your name. We sit then start. You have 7 guesses left, so I'm gonna guess 90. Then it says your guess is high. Try again. I'll give you a hint. The number is between 60 and 68. So that means that our best guesses start with most of 64. Okay. So your guess is low. Try again. So that means it's between 64 and 68. Next number would be 66. Okay. So now all we have to do is 67. Okay, no. 63. So what number should we guess? So we guess 66, 67. Wait, was low? Try again. Oh, 67 was high, so, and then 65. Bingo. Okay, and then congratulations, Sid, you entered the correct. You entered correct, and then it'll end it. Anyway, so this is how you code for a random guessing number game. Anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye.